Hey everyone, it's just Dr. Andrew Orr here, and I'm with two of my favourite Andrews. We've got Andrew Meredith, or Andy Meredith, and Andrew Rowe. And we've decided to come on and have a chat to everyone because everyone goes through stuff in their life, and we're just going to sit around and have a bit of a chit chat and try and help support people through our own stories. And, you know, because many times we're talking about, as we've just talked about prior to coming on here, we all go through things in life at the time we think is horrible, but later on, with some hindsight, it's not that horrible really at all. And if we hadn't have gone through it, we wouldn't be where we were, so, or are now. So I thought we'd come on, the old guys, us 50, the 50-something-year-olds. Wait up, Andy Meredith might not be there yet.
The 50-somethings, yeah. How's that?
and Andrew Rowe just
this year.
Just this year.
Yep, so, 3 months ago, turned the big 50.
How did you go with that?
Curling up in the fetal position, a lot of crying. No. I mean, I never thought I was going to be here, mate. So everything's a bonus, right? Like, yeah, I'm actually starting to feel like now I can walk into places and feel okay with being called sir.
Yeah.
You know, I'm still looking around for my dad for a little bit, but no, I'm getting more comfortable with it. It comes with the grey hair and the gravitas, right?
Yeah, you still got your hair.
Yeah, it's strategically placed, you see.
Yeah.
You know, you just got to get a little better with the gel, you know, but not doing too bad compared to some of my mates, right?
That's right. Andy's still got his hair.
Yeah, but not much else.
He's always jealous of my hair, you know, like that.
Well, your hair always looks perfect, mate. I got to be honest. It's always on point. So
both of you.
Yeah, true.
I'll take it.
GQ Silver Edition.
Some of my mates keep saying, "Are you dyeing your hair?" I'm like, "No, I've never dyed my hair. I'm just lucky."
Well, I got a cousin that says he doesn't, but he does.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah.
There's probably a few greys in there somewhere.
Do you guys remember the movie Logan's Run?
Yeah.
Where once you turn 30, you have to be killed. Well, they come upon Peter Ustinov in what had been Washington D.C. and one of the characters goes and points to his forehead and says, "Do these cracks hurt?" and that I was maybe 8 or 9 when that came out, and now I'm on the other side of it.
Yeah.
Classic.
Yeah, sometimes they do. Sometimes they do.
Yep.
Well, that's just it, right? When like we see, you know, some of these young guys that are, you know, in their 20s and stuff, and they're thinking that 30 is going to be a big deal, and then 40 is going to be a big deal, but it's not really, right?
Just another notch.
Just another notch.
It's only as big as you want to make it in your head.
Really, indeed.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people have the expectations, you know, by 30, I want to do this and this and this, and I want to be married and 3 kids, and I want to be making at least 3 times my age.
Yeah.
I've known a lot of people who use their age as a basis on how much they should be earning, and if they don't, then they're a failure.
Yeah.
You know, I think we can get caught up in like expectations, right?
Yeah.
And it's great to have goals. Don't get me wrong. I think that's what we do as human beings, is we set goals and we work to accomplish them, and then we set new goals. That's great. But, you know, life doesn't always work out like we planned it. And, you know, these ideas that we have in our heads about shoulds or musts, you know, doesn't always work out like that. And we gotta change our goals, and we gotta adjust to the reality of what we're living, you know.
Yeah.
And that's hard to change gears, mate, especially when you've, you know, well, by 30, I've got to have this in place. I mean, shit, I didn't start university until I was 30, you know.
Yeah.
I didn't finish high school. You know, I had a roundabout route to that, you know, and people that think, you know, well, by 30, I need to finish my degree. I need to have a firm idea of where I'm going. I probably should have a down payment on the house. Nah, man, like it doesn't always work out like that. Just keep
Nah.
chipping away at it.
If you can hit 30 without having any back pain or having filed bankruptcy or have a criminal offense on your record, you're ahead of the game.
For sure.
Exactly. And I think that's the hard thing for some of the younger people. Like we see, every day there's people thinking the world's going to end because, the girlfriend left them, or they haven't paid the rent this week, or, it's, I suppose for them at the time, it's the worst thing in the world, but, it's in hindsight, it's not that bad. And
well, let's be honest. I mean, I want to keep it PG, but it fucking sucks. I mean, there's no two ways of getting around it. You can't put fucking food on the table for whatever reason or another. I mean, we've all been there. I mean, the amount of times I ate white bread and bought that $2 packet of black and white hamburgers from the local, no frills store, and that got me through for a week.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, we all struggle, but I mean, this too shall pass, right, boys?
Yeah.
Like if that's one thing I know about this life, this too shall pass, the good and the bad.
Yeah, exactly right. And
it passes a lot easier though if you're willing to accept help.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And how often are we willing to extend ourselves like that, man? Not enough.
Nah. Yeah.
That takes courage too, man.
Yeah. But it's okay to ask for help. Like, and you think you have to do it all on your own. And this is what happens, we're seeing, I suppose, even with some of these celebrities, we're seeing, they obviously aren't reaching out for help and, thinking.
Then you have a meltdown on national television.
Yeah.
Or worse.
Or worse. Yeah. But it's not that bad. Or like we're just talking about breakups. Previously, Andrew, you were saying, you headed off overseas and thought your life was...
Dude, it was the best move I could have made. At the time, it was devastating. Are you kidding me? I thought this, this willowy brunette that I'd set my sights on, that was a massage therapist, and she was, great. And, like it was something that I thought that I was going to, progress with, and we're going to get married and we're going to do this, do that. Didn't work out. Devastated my world, man. Like, I couldn't get my head around it. What's wrong with me? Late nights, drinking too much, listening to sad music on the radio. Fuck me. Give your head a shake. Anyway, so I ended up going to Europe and I met this fantastic woman who I'm now married to over 20 years. And we've known each other since 97. So what's that? 25 years we've known each other. I've known her half my life, and I couldn't be happier. 25 years later, man. Like,
I always say, out of every crisis, there's an opportunity.
Bingo.
What about you, Andy Meredith? You had a similar story, heartbreak.
Yeah. Well, yeah. On the morning of December 12th, 1997, I said to one of my coworkers when we were riding on the bus that, I think I may have already met and been dumped by the person I was supposed to be with. And then that night I met Sylvia.
Oh, nice. And
so 25 years for us too.
Wow.
Love it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I met my wife in September of 97 in Turkey.
Wow.
Oh, well, we met in a bar in downtown Ottawa.
That ain't bad either.
Nice.
Ottawa, how exotic.
It could have been King's Cross for you, Andrew.
Well, it could have been. Yeah, I don't have a lot of memories of those King Cross days, but
no.
Not that I'm going to share right now on this podcast. That's
No. We'll keep it PG.
Mostly.
But we've all had sort of dark times. Like, let's face it, we've all had dark times, and we've all, like, I've seen many of these, young guys going, I want to end my life. The world's going to end. And I think we've all had those kind of thoughts. I don't think they're abnormal, are they?
No.
And like you said,
and that's not just me wanting to make it typical and not unique to me. really think everybody is experiencing those same feelings.
Yeah. Yeah. And
And to one degree or another, they're okay with talking about it.
Yeah. And that's the key to it, isn't it? Talking.
Yep.
When you get into that the hole.
Yeah.
I would implore people to reach out, anything you're going through, if you get to those really dark times, I just really implore people to reach out because, I'd much rather be woken up at 2:00 in the morning to talk to someone rather than wake up to hear some bad news, right? The thing you got to realize is everything's shitty sometimes. Everything absolutely fucking sucks sometimes. But we just got to keep pushing through it because that'll change. The only thing that will change it is time. There's no miracle pill. And sometimes we just got to wade through shit. But it will change. I mean, that's the thing about life. It's a constant series of ups and downs, mate. Hopefully you get more ups and downs, but, we all get down and sometimes we get real down. But I just implore people to reach out, mate. My DMs are always open for anyone that's listening to this. Confidentiality guarantee. The only thing that I will say to that is that, if you're making threats to really harm yourself or harm someone else, I might have to say something. But other than that, mate, it's like the vault. I'm not going to go and even share with you guys, unless someone gives me the okay to do so. So I just want to chuck that on the table and just make sure people are aware of that, Not that anyone's maybe going to use it or not, but it's open, right?
Yeah.
Well, I hope they do.
Yeah.
I've already been contacted a few times by Drewds from the support group.
Yeah. And that's
just this week.
And that's sort of how we all sort of met.
Yeah.
Helping people.
We have the same name. We're about the same age, and we like people.
Yeah,
Indeed.
Exactly. But the repercussions of like taking your own life, it's pretty bad. What happens after that, the effect, the carry-on effect that has.
That's a really hard one for me, and I try never ever to miss trying to help somebody and reaching out and being there when I see a post like that. My one of my stepbrothers actually killed himself when he was about 20, and he had bipolar disorder, and he was obsessed with not telling his father that he was gay. And so rather than be honest and open and talk about it, he hung himself instead.
Yeah.
And that was 30 years ago, and I really try and help everyone I can since then.
Yeah.
Indeed, Andy.
I think that's really hard because a lot of gay people and transgender and all that, they cop a lot of flack, and they often have a lot of these sorts of thoughts too, which is understandable, and it's quite confusing for them. So when people make jokes about it, some of those jokes on a bad day can really hurt, and
exactly
if you're already in a bad place.
I don't understand why we can't be kinder to each other as people. I just don't understand what we can all disagree about stuff, but Jesus, man, like, why you got to be unkind, man? Like, none of us get out of here alive. Like, we're all on the same path, can we just be a little bit more accepting of each other and just be kind? I mean, look, don't mistake kindness for weakness either. You're going to be a prick to me, mate, I'll fire right back.
Yeah,
but,
exactly.
Until then, I'll be kind, and considerate, because we're all human beings living this existence, and it's not easy for any of us. I don't care what anyone says and what your situation is or what your bank account is or what your status is. Life's not easy for any of us all the time, So just be a little kind.
Yeah, exactly. And people have these perceptions, and perception becomes reality then, doesn't it? But no one knows what you're going through unless
absolutely.
Unless you're there, you don't know, right?
Yeah.
And, again, I come from a pretty privileged background. You wouldn't think it. I mean, I grew up in, working class South Australia country boy, grew up with a bunch of rednecks.
Yeah.
But, I still recognize, the kind of privileged life I have now. I don't got to worry about, hailing a cab or how I'm going to be perceived by the police, Like, it's a lot harder for Drewds and Dreers out there from people of color as well. I mean, I don't want to get it twisted and not recognize that as well. I know who I am in this life. I work with, First Nations people, right? And I also try and understand, like, white guy working with First Nations people, like, how am I perceived? Like colonialism, all of that bullshit and stuff, power structures and all of that. You got to be cognizant of that, without being weird about it. You know what I mean? You got to recognize that privilege. So.
Yeah, definitely.
And not be offended that you are privileged. Like we're all
or be defensive about it, right?
Yeah.
Like if someone says something to you, then they're like, well, maybe I should think about that, instead of like going, oh, no, mate, no, not me. No, I've got it all figured out, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Be open to hearing a perspective, right?
Yeah, it's exactly right. Exactly right. And look, we're all still negotiating our way through things, through life. Like I was talking to a couple of friends of mine that have, transitioned and, come out, and the language we use, because we grew up, saying, oh, just men and women and stuff like that. So they often say, can you just, if you're talking, can you just say persons or talk about pronouns and things like that? And it's hard for us to negotiate that sometimes. Whereas my kids, they're always onto it. Dad, you got to use pronouns, you got to do this, you got to do that. But they don't do it intentionally,
My stepdaughter is trans, and very early on, pronouns was a very big thing. She drilled it into us that this is why it's important to other people.
Yeah.
And she herself doesn't care as much anymore. But my mom's really bad for still referring to my stepdaughter as her boy self. Either by name or as a he or a his, and it just rolls off her now.
Yeah. Because I think they know the intention behind, right? It's not to disrespect you. It's that, like, if we've known one thing for one way, for a while, it takes a little time to shift gears, and there's going to be situations that happen that you're not always going to hit the nail on the head. But the willingness to be able to be open to that and be understanding of that is a huge thing, right? I will never disrespect people by using the pronoun that they don't want to. Like, I'm not that kind of person. Like, like that. I want to make people feel comfortable.
Right.
And if that means by using the pronoun you asked me to use, absolutely I'm going to use it.
Yeah.
But am I going to make mistakes sometimes? Probably. But that's okay too. That's part of my learning, and you can be gentle in correcting me.
Yeah,
and I'm
that's
open to
right.
hearing it, right? So
yeah, and that's right. It's got to go both ways, because we're not perfect. And
we're not all stuffy old farts, stuck in our ways. Like, we are willing to learn, I'm willing to learn.
We aren't.
In some things, absolutely. You're not going to get me to change football teams or my hockey teams. Go Canucks.
Well, that's it. You got to have those passions in life too, don't you? You've got things to look forward to. Like we were talking about before with Andy Meredith and I, and yourself too, Andrew. You like the music, it's sort of got. I think music's got them through life, or made them sad or happy. So music's always there as a constant.
Funny you should say that. I was going to say there's a Bob Dylan album whose title I've now taken as kind of like a motto. It's together through life.
Yeah.
And I really like that kind of sentiment.
Yeah, that's right.
We may change relationships, kind of ebb and flow, but if we're just here together, that's great.
Yeah.
Just good times, bad times. We know we've had our share.
That's right.
Indeed.
Absolutely.
Some Zeppelin lyrics, man.
And I saw one of the my son's into a band called Nothing But Thieves, and he introduced me. Dad, you've got to listen to these guys. He's got a great voice, like Jeff Buckley. I said, oh, okay. So I did this, and he does sound like Jeff Buckley. Got a really amazing voice. But one of their songs they were talking about, we all live under the same sun. And I was like, oh, that's a pretty powerful lyric, you know, there. We all do live under the same sun, and regardless of color, race, gender, you know, we're all the same, really. We're skin and bone, you know, we bleed the same. And
William Shakespeare, if you cut me, do I not bleed? You know?
Absolutely.
We're so focused on our differences.
Yeah.
We pray to the different God. We salute to a different flag. All that stuff.
Yeah.
Just so artificial.
You know, if one thing I could encourage anyone to do is travel. You know, if you've got the means, the ability to travel, do so, especially post-COVID. Now we're moving into a post-COVID world. I know it's been kind of weird over the last 2 years.
Yeah.
But I would recommend anyone that's able to do so is to get out of your comfort zone and go travel somewhere, and you know, not stay in the fancy hotel, but go and get a B&B in a smaller community and immerse yourself for a little bit, and you'll realize that people, it doesn't matter whether it be from Cambodia to King's Cross, you know, people are the same. We want the same things for our family. We want people to be happy and healthy. You know, the differences.
Side note to the audience, just a sec. If you, to find out some really, really groovy secrets, ask Rowe and Dr. Orr in your PMs about King's Crossing. Apparently, there's some epic.
It was quite the education as a young fella. That's all I'll say.
Yes, it was.
But the differences that divide us as human beings, you know, inconsequential as to the things that bind us together as human beings. So I think we can all get a little bit, you know, we retreat to our tribes sometimes, and, you know, it's them over there and it's us, and, you know, the us and them thing. You know, come on, man, like that's kind of artificial constructs when you really think about it. I mean, you know, the human experience is the human experience, right?
Yeah.
So,
yep.
I think you're right about the travel too. You know, travel opens up the world basically, but your inner world.
It opens up your mind too.
Yeah, it opens up your mind, and meeting just different people and realizing, you know, we're all the same. Like, we got different customs and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, we're all trying to make it in the world, put food on the table, trying to live, do the best we can.
Yeah,
indeed.
And
we all want our parents' approval.
Yes.
I hear. Yeah, not something I'm going to line up to wait for.
No. And that's just it, right? We've all got bag, you know, we've all got baggage. There's always family issues. There's always something, isn't there?
Yep.
Yeah, we've all got the yes, and regrets. A past, yeah. We have.
Past.
Yeah, but it doesn't define. Well, it makes us into who we are now, but it doesn't define us, does it?
No, but you can let it, and it becomes very easy to let it rule you.
Indeed.
Ooh, yeah.
One of the most powerful things I ever kind of went through was the fact that you can kind of start again. The weird thing about moving somewhere where people don't know you, you can write your kind of own story from the beginning again. I mean, not really, but you kind of can when people, you know, they don't have those expectations. Like people I knew in high school, say, I mean, they know the 15, 16-year-old version of me. It's not the same as a 50-year-old version of me, you know. But the people that I met later in life have a better understanding of who I am as a person, rather than that immature 15-year-old kid that was going through some gnarly shit back in the day, you know.
No, and no one remembers when you had zits on your forehead.
Right.
Exactly.
Were you going around Europe telling everybody that you're Jay Gatsby? I'm a billionaire.
Yeah, that didn't end well.
No.
It never does.
But it is the fun along the way too. Like you were just saying, the no frills, living on 2-minute noodles in a backpacker somewhere. And,
absolutely. Ramen noodles saved my life, dude. Like that and a carton of eggs, that'll get you through. Some spring onions in there. You got yourself a fancy fucking gourmet meal.
Gourmet.
Yeah.
You put spring
packet of that dodgy Chinese takeout soy sauce on top.
Yeah. Oh,
giddy up.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's along the way, and all the fun things. Whereas at the time, you're probably thinking, "Oh God, I'm slogging away here, and it's shit."
Yep.
But it's not really. You look back on it and go, "They were great times."
Mm-hmm. Some of those travel stories where you had the shittiest time, where you lost your baggage or you didn't make that connecting flight, things that seemed like a drama at the time, things that were like, oh my God, like this is a nightmare. You look back on fondly and have a laugh about it, right? I mean, that's most things, except for the terminally tragic, that's kind of harder to laugh about.
Yeah.
But most things we can look at ourselves and look. My biggest protective factor in this life is the ability to laugh at myself.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of material to draw on there. I can't take myself too seriously, because otherwise I might turn into my father. And that's something I've really been working against for decades. No. So, I will always find the humor in things, or try to. That's easier said than done, but that's been my protective factor through life. I use humor as a defense mechanism. I use humor in my work. I try and bring humor to the workplace and in my personal life, because, man, why so serious? It's okay until it is serious. And, when it's serious, you put your serious hat on. But, I mean, come on, man. Like, none of us get out of here alive, as I said. Be kind, have some fun, Be serious when you need to be.
Yeah. For those who don't know, I was in a coma last October for about 48 hours, and when I woke up, the first thing I did was make a joke to my wife about why do all the doctors look like Teller from Penn and Teller. And she just like. And I said, look, if I stop laughing, then I need help.
Yeah.
Laughter really gets you through a lot of life's left turns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you?
And if you can't make fun of yourself, make sure you have friends around that can do it for you. Take the piss out of you.
Yeah. I'm quite blessed in that regard. And I know that a lot of the Drewds and the Dreers out there that have served in the military in one capacity or another, these are my closest people in my life. Although it was many years ago that I served, these are still some of the people that I trust the most in this life, that will keep me balanced and level.
Yeah.
That certainly wouldn't see me getting a big head about things, because they're the first people to come up and check me. And I'm really grateful for the friends in my life that keep me balanced and somewhat sane.
Yeah, because that's the other area we see a lot of, is the military life, and life can be gone like that in a second.
Yep.
Especially if you're on deployment.
And also, Doc, it's the aftermath. Unfortunately, it's when young fellas and fellas get out and they feel like they've lost that sense of connection, and maybe they're struggling with VA, or maybe they're struggling with the shit that they've had to go through, and not getting the help they need or the support they need. It can really weigh down. I mean, I've unfortunately lost mates to suicide there as well. Good mates of mine, and it's heartbreaking because, I thought they would have reached out, but, the first I heard about it was, hearing from their mum or from mates, and yeah. So again, this is a big thing for me. I don't want people to suffer in silence. I think that's the main thing that we're getting together on, and just saying the Andrew support committee is there as well. Mr. Hernandez and those gentlemen that have put that together, that are keeping that rolling on is invaluable. I encourage people.
And Andrea Johnson, don't forget Andrea Johnson.
Indeed. Yeah, and Andrea, absolutely. I miss Andrea actually. We hope to get her on the next call and Mr. Albertson as well.
Yeah.
All those guys.
She's
right?
traveling, isn't she?
I think so.
Relocating where she's living.
Yeah.
But I'd encourage people to do that. That's a safe place. Even if you don't want to use your name, you can use an anonymous sign in and talk to us, right?
Yeah.
So,
yep.
And look, and that's the other thing, like all of us have seen things we probably don't want to see, experience things we don't really want to experience. But it helps us understand what other people are going through, even I suppose we see Mr. Dalton up there making jokes every 5 seconds. But, like him, he probably as a fireman, he's probably seen a lot of shit go down. And
that poor bugger, I think he got whizzed on the other day.
Yeah.
That seems to have left a mark. that seems to have really traumatized the man. And, I take my hat off for him.
I was going to say when you said that he's seen a lot of shit, I said, oh, he's seen a lot of piss too.
He's seen a lot of piss. Yeah. And then the fat
force.
The fat lady fell on him and farted on him as well. Yeah.
I salute him for his service.
Well, we actually see this, and we do have a lot of people in the service, like Mr. Labie is on deployment there,
and a lot of guys that are returned or ex-service as well. So I see a lot of the guys there. So yeah. And
you've served, Mr. Rowe?
Yeah, I did my stint back in the day, mate. I joined as a young pup. I joined at 16, 16 and a half, because the half's important when you're 16. So we always used to get recruiters come to my country town. And that's what you did. Like if you're a recruiter worth your salt, you go to country towns and recruit people that their options were farming or factories. And you go and you present the glossy brochures of, you're going to travel the world and meet interesting people. That does appeal. So I looked at the army originally. I was kind of, I used to, play, running around with sticks as guns as a kid. I thought I was going to be destined for the army. I kind of thought that was a romantic notion. But the army wouldn't take me until I was 17 and a half.
Oh.
So, the Navy would take me at 16 and a half, and that was working as a radar plotter, which is a combat systems operator, basically. You get to play video games and do warfare and all that shit. So I decided I'd join at 16 and a half. I did my 6 years. I got a 22. And I remember being 16 and going, I get out at 22, I'm going to be old. 22's old, right?
22's old, yeah.
Fuck. Yeah, I crammed a lot into those 6 years.
Old keeps moving up now with
it really does. Right? Now I'm thinking 60 might be old.
Yeah.
And then when I get to 60, I'll probably shift it to 70 being old. And we'll go from there. Well, I think we'll do decades from here on in. So
yeah. It's funny.
I'm a little closer to 60 than you are, so 60 is not my top yet. 85.
There you go.
Wow.
Reasonable.
We do have to change it a little bit now, because like when we were growing up, like the generations before probably only they didn't live that long, but now we're living longer, so the benchmark has to change a little bit more.
Well, I've already outlived my dad.
Yeah,
by 4 years.
Yeah.
Well, my dad's still alive, but I get to go home in August, so we'll see. We'll speak in September.
You're going back in August, and you'll speak in September.
Yeah, whether he's still alive or not.
Oh,
but what about? We've all had. Well, I don't know about Mr. Rowe there, but we've all. Well, you would have. We've all had sort of near-death experiences. how does that change you? For those people out there?
I wasn't told all the details of my coma when I got out. It took about 2 months off and on to get details. Like I found out the reason why I went into coma was because of an allergic reaction. So it was an anaphylactic shock, and I was already in sepsis. Since then, I'm kind of struggling with what comes next, and to that end, I'm going back to work on Monday, so I'm going to be working from home, from this very room, actually.
But it gives you purpose too, doesn't it? Like working or even just a hobby to give purpose or something.
Yeah, like I'm better to myself now. I'm treating myself better. I'm treating others better.
Yeah.
I hope.
Perfect imperfections. We all try.
I have a lot of those. Yeah.
I think we all
do, mate. Yeah.
What about you, Andrew? Have you had one of those near death?
I've had a few, close accidents, close calls. I think the big one was when I think facing mortality is not something we're used to. Yeah. We went and did the whole Desert Shield thing back in the day. Yeah. I was 18 for that when we got the news that Iraq had invaded Kuwait, and the scuttlebutt was going around the ship. We were actually doing exercises off the coast, east coast of Australia at the time, doing a bunch of naval gunnery support and, that kind of nonsense. And the scuttlebutt was flying around the ship, we might be going, and everyone's going, bullshit, fucking, there's no way we're going. Yeah, we were going. We got in on a Friday, we left on the Monday. And that weekend, we stripped the ship and got it ready for wartime running. And then we had to get prepared. It's what's called OLOC. It's operational level of completion. So it's what every ship or every warship has to do to actually be going to an area of operations, which is different just to playing war games. So they threw everything at us in the 2 weeks we were on our way to the Straits Hormuz. I just remember, if things were going to go sideways, I couldn't be with a better bunch of blokes, and we were all there for each other. But it was the first time I'd faced my mortality in that regards, that I might not be coming back. And as it ended up, everything was A-okay, but it's about the what ifs and what abouts, right? But at the end of the day, you just keep putting one foot in front of the other and getting through it, right? Whether it be close calls or whatever life throws at you, you just got to keep moving forward,
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Absolutely.
But as a young fella, mate, that would look, having to write a will. I wrote a will before I left, and I remember signing off like, I had a shitty little 30 centimeter TV, color TV that I sent, my sister. Okay, you can have the TV, and I'm what the anyway. But the bigger things were like, if something happens, parents get it all, figure it out, like
figure it out later on.
But yeah, having those conversations as a young fellow was kind of eye opening, and it gives you appreciation for your mortality, and I'm sure Andy Meredith, going for what you do, you're going through what you went through. I mean, nothing's guaranteed here, That's the scary thing, is not knowing and having no control,
Yeah. I was really lucky. All the doctors said, like, there was no kidney damage, no liver damage. Brain damage, that's
we all got brain damage, bro. No one gets out of here alive.
No. Plenty of self-inflicted.
Cheers.
Yeah. Self-inflicted brain damage. But that's just it, isn't it? Like, we're all just laughing about it. But the truth, that is the truth, isn't it? But being able to laugh about it.
Yes.
Yeah. I think that's the most important thing, is just being able to laugh about it and talk about it, like we're doing now. It's just what they say, chewing the fat.
It's been very enjoyable, boys.
Yes, it has been.
It's a nice end of the week for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. It's really good. Yeah, and I suppose because we everyone's, what is your Friday night, isn't it? Friday
Yes.
night?
Yes.
Yeah. So if anyone's sort of sitting there, on a Friday night and feeling sort of down and out and, not sure about life and that, just remember, what we're talking about here. Life goes on and there's always help. There's always someone to talk to. Andy Meredith is a night owl, so he's always up.
Well, I am now, but I might actually start getting 8 hours sleep.
What a concept.
I know.
But there's always someone awake too, like,
Yes.
especially
Around the world, man.
Around the world, yeah. Around the world.
Us Drews and Dreers are legion.
Yeah.
We're all over the world, We've got our Asian Pacific Drews, we've got our European Drews, we've got our North American Drews and Dreers, right?
Yeah.
I don't mean to exclude the Dreers. I say Drews, but I mean all of us, right?
All of us, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, we should really change the name, shouldn't we? It should be a
Yeah, we got to work on a Drew Diaz. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be nice to see more of the women involved and people involved. People.
Well, as you say, Andrea Johnson, we've got Andrea Lopez. There's quite a few people around that are engaged. So it's lovely to see. Yeah,
and the other thing is getting on the regular. I mean, we always have a bit of fun when we get on the Zoom chats.
I would highly encourage that, you guys. Like anyone that's listening to us right now that maybe is thinking, oh, should I join or should? This is what it's like. Just a bunch of people shooting the shit, getting together, having a good time. And
if you
just
just want to listen, that's cool too.
Absolutely. You don't have to feel like you've got to jump in.
No one's forced to participate. You only say what you want to talk about. Andy. You don't have to.
Yeah. And if you want to have a drink, have a drink. You
want to smoke some green, smoke some green.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no one's going to judge you for it.
No one.
No. All right, gentlemen. Well, thanks very much for coming on, and hopefully people will sort of hear this and know that there is help and life, it goes on, doesn't it? It
does.
And it's what you think is bad at the time is probably not as bad as you think. And if it is, reach out and get some help.
Reach out and hang in there.
Hang in there. Hang in there.
We may not be able to solve your problems, but we might help you, find the way.
Yeah. Because ultimately you got to work it out for yourself. And do it yourself. But if we can, give you some coping skills or life skills that, that we've learned along the way, then.
Or just an ear to listen, man. I mean, even if I don't have any solutions, I'm just here, right?
That's exactly right.
And, we can listen or we can talk, but I'm just here, man.
Yeah, me too.
Between the three of us, how many job interviews do you think we've all been on together?
Oh, Jesus.
Ooh.
Over 100?
Yeah, easy.
Yeah.
Marriages, kids.
One marriage.
Yeah, one for me too.
I'm divorced, so yeah.
And I tell you, mate, if things didn't work out with my wife, it's always going to be one. I'm not going to get married again. I don't care what's going to happen, mate.
Yeah, I'm nearly the same. I'm like, I don't know, I want to do that again, but but I'm always open to yes. But yes, like that, it's we all go through the ups and downs in life. So
we have over 150 years of life experience now.
We do.
Three of us. So use us. We're a resource for you.
And we've all been there. There's not, like I say to people, there's not much we probably collectively haven't seen, done, tried.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Snorted.
Yeah. And yeah, some of us have been in those very hairy situations where we've feared for our lives, being shot at, not even knowing if we're going to wake up the next day. Hospitalized.
I didn't even get into my bouncing days.
Oh, we'll have to talk about
Story
that.
for another time.
Yeah, the support meeting. All right, well, we're going to sign off for now, and then please listen, and if you think it's bad, yeah, reach out and come and join us on the support committee. And
I highly recommend it.
Yeah.
Or just join us too.
Yeah, just join. Yeah, definitely.
Share your wisdoms and experiences.
Please.
We can always learn something. You learn something every day.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you.
Good on you, Doc.
Peace, boys.
And I'll just sign.